The Zarkonian ship hung in space, its crew watching in awe as the ancient human fleet came to life. Captain Zeltorn paced the bridge, his four eyes darting between the view screen and his officers. "Status report," he barked, trying to hide the excitement in his voice. Vilmar, now promoted to senior officer after their discovery, responded quickly. "Captain, the human ships are fully powered up. They're moving into formation." Dr. Yix added, her tentacles flying over her console. "The energy readings are off the charts. Whatever technology they're using, it's far beyond anything we've ever seen." Suddenly, a bright light engulfed the human fleet. When it faded, a massive portal had opened in space, a wormhole unlike anything the Zarkonians had ever witnessed. "By the cosmic elders," Seltorn whispered, "they've mastered stable wormhole technology." As the Zarkonians watched, ships began to emerge from the wormhole. These weren't the ancient vessels they had seen before, but sleek, impossibly advanced craft that seemed to bend the very fabric of space around them. A transmission crackled through their communication systems. At first, it was just static, but then a voice came through, speaking perfect Zarkonian. "Greetings, explorers," the voice said. "We are the descendants of humanity. We thank you for awakening our sentinel fleet. We have returned." The bridge erupted in chaos. Seltorn raised his hands for silence. "This is Captain Seltorn of the Zarkonian Empire. We welcome you back to your homeworld." A chuckle came through the speakers. "Thank you, Captain. We've been gone for what must seem like an eternity to you, but for us, it's been an adventure." A hologram flickered to life on the Zarkonian bridge. It showed a human, but not like the ancient images they had seen. This human was tall, with eyes that seemed to glow with inner light. Parts of their body seamlessly blended with advanced technology. "I am Admiral Zera," the human said. "We have seen the edges of the universe, colonized galaxies you've never dreamed of. But Earth has always called us home." Zeltorn found his voice. "But why? Why did you leave in the first place?" Zora's hologram smiled. "Curiosity, Captain. An unquenchable thirst for knowledge. Our ancestors realized that staying in one galaxy would eventually lead to stagnation. So they made the hardest choice imaginable, to leave everything behind and leap into the unknown." Dr. Yix stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overcoming her awe. "Your technology, it's incredible. How did you achieve such advancements?" "Time, Doctor," Zora replied. "Time and necessity. When you're exploring the unknown reaches of the universe, you either adapt or perish. We chose to adapt." As they spoke, more human ships continued to pour through the wormhole. Some were massive, easily dwarfing the largest Zarkonian vessels. Others were small, darting between the larger ships with impossible speed. Vilmar spoke up, his voice trembling slightly. "Admiral Zara, what are your intentions now that you've returned?" Zora's hologram turned to face him. "Peace, young one. We return not as conquerors, but as explorers. We wish to share our knowledge, to help lift all sentient species to new heights." Captain Seltorn felt a mix of relief and excitement. "Admiral, on behalf of the Zarkonian Empire, I extend an invitation for peaceful exchange and cooperation." Zara nodded. "We accept, Captain. But know this, our return will change everything. The galaxy as you know it will never be the same." As if to emphasize her point, several human ships broke off from the main fleet. In a blink of an eye, they'd vanished, only to reappear near different planets in the solar system. "We're establishing outposts," Zara explained. "Earth will once again be our home, but we've grown beyond needing just one world." Captain Seltorn realized he was witnessing history in the making. The return of humanity wasn't just a scientific marvel. It was the dawn of a new era for the entire galaxy. "Admiral," he said, straightening his posture, "I believe this is the beginning of a grand alliance. The Zarkonian Empire would be honored to learn from humanity." Zara's hologram smiled once more. "And we would be honored to learn from you, Captain. After all, the universe is vast, and there's always more to discover. Together, who knows what wonders we might find." As the human fleet settled into orbit around Earth, the Zarkonians knew that their mission of exploration had turned into something far greater. They had not just discovered an ancient civilization. They had witnessed the return of a species that would reshape the very future of the cosmos. The journey to the galactic core was unlike anything the Zarkonians had ever experienced. Their upgraded ship moved through space at speeds they had once thought impossible. Stars streaked by in colorful blurs, and the very fabric of space seemed to bend around them. Captain Seltorn stood on the bridge, his 4 eyes wide with wonder. "Status report," he called out, still marveling at how smoothly their ship handled the incredible velocities. Vilmar, monitoring the new systems installed by the humans, responded, "All systems functioning perfectly, Captain. The humans' technology it's miraculous. We're covering distances in hours that would have taken us years before." Dr. Yix added excitedly, "Captain, the data we're collecting on this journey alone is groundbreaking. The insights into space-time and quantum mechanics, it's revolutionary." As they neared the galactic core, the density of stars increased dramatically. The view outside was a breathtaking tapestry of light and color, but it was also treacherous, filled with intense radiation and gravitational forces that would have torn their old ship apart. "Approaching the coordinates of the ancient construct," announced Tazalia from her engineering station. "Prepare for deceleration." The human ships around them began to slow, and the Zarkonian vessel followed suit. As they dropped out of faster-than-light travel, a collective gasp went up from the bridge crew. Before them loomed a massive structure, easily the size of a small planet. It was a perfect sphere, its surface covered in intricate, glowing patterns that shifted and changed as they watched. Around it, smaller satellite structures orbited in complex patterns. "By the cosmic elders," whispered Seltorn, awe evident in his voice. Admiral Zara's voice came over the comm system. "Impressive, isn't it? We've been studying it from afar, but this is the closest any of us have gotten." As they drew nearer, the construct seemed to react to their presence. The patterns on its surface began to shift more rapidly, and pulses of energy radiated outward. "Captain," called out Vilmar urgently, "we're detecting a massive energy buildup within the construct." Before anyone could react, a beam of pure energy shot out from the construct, engulfing both the human and Zarkonian ships. But instead of damage, the crews felt a strange sensation, as if their very consciousness was being expanded. In an instant, Seltorn found his mind filled with visions and knowledge. He saw the rise and fall of countless civilizations across the galaxy. He witnessed the birth of stars and the death of entire solar systems. And through it all, he sensed a presence, ancient, vast, and incomprehensibly alien. As quickly as it began, the experience ended. Seltorn blinked, looking around to see his crew similarly dazed. Is everyone all right?" he asked, his voice shaky. Dr. Yix was the first to respond, her tentacles trembling with excitement. "Captain, that was. I think we just experienced some form of direct knowledge transfer. The things I saw, the information now in my mind. It's incredible." Admiral Zara's hologram appeared on the bridge, her expression a mix of awe and concern. "It seems the construct responded to our presence in a way we hadn't anticipated. Captain Seltorn, did your crew experience the same thing we did?" Seltorn nodded. "Yes, Admiral. It was unlike anything I've ever known. But what does it mean?" As if in response to his question, the construct began to change. Its surface shifted, revealing an opening large enough for their ships to enter. "It's inviting us in," said Vilmar, his voice filled with wonder and a hint of fear. Admiral Zara's hologram nodded. "This is why we came. Captain Seltorn, is your crew prepared to take the next step? To be the first to enter this ancient marvel?" Zeltorn looked around at his crew. Despite the uncertainty, he saw determination and curiosity in their eyes. This was the moment they had all dreamed of, a true journey into the unknown. "We're ready, Admiral," Zeltorn said firmly. "The Zarkonian people have always been explorers at heart. We'll face whatever lies within, together." With careful maneuvering, the joint fleet of human and Zarkonian ships began to enter the construct. As they passed through the opening, they felt a tingle of energy wash over them. They were crossing a threshold not just in space, but in the very history of galactic civilization. Inside, a vast chamber opened up before them, filled with technology beyond their wildest imaginations, and at its center, a pulsing core of energy that seemed to call to them, promising answers to questions they hadn't even thought to ask. The greatest adventure of their lives was just beginning, and the fate of not just their civilizations, but perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. As the Zarkonian ship hovered above Earth, Captain Zeltorn called a meeting of his top officers. The room buzzed with excitement as they gathered around a holographic display of the planet and its orbiting fleet. "What we found here is unprecedented," Zeltorn began, his 4 eyes scanning the faces of his crew. "A highly advanced civilization that simply vanished, leaving behind technology that rivals or even surpasses our own." Dr. Yix, the chief scientist, stepped forward. "Captain, I've analyzed some of the data we collected from the surface. It's incredible. These humans had mastered technologies we've only dreamed of." She waved her tentacle, and the hologram changed to show schematics of various human inventions. "Look at this." They had begun to harness zero-point energy, developed primitive but functional quantum computers, and their understanding of genetics was remarkably advanced. The room filled with murmurs of amazement. Vilmar, the young officer from the bridge, spoke up. "But if they were so advanced, why did they leave? And where did they go?" Zeltorn nodded, his face serious. "Those are the big questions, Vilmarch, and to answer them, we need to take a closer look at those ships in orbit." The next day, a small team from the Zarkonian ship approached one of the dormant human vessels. As they drew near, they were struck by its sleek design and the strange, smooth material of its hull. "It's beautiful," whispered Tazlia, the engineering expert, her voice filled with awe. "I've never seen anything like it." As they docked with the human ship, they half expected alarms to sound or defense systems to activate. But the ship remained silent, as if waiting for them. Inside, the Zarkonians found themselves in a world of advanced technology beyond their wildest dreams. Holographic displays flickered to life as they passed, showing star charts of galaxies they had never seen before. "Look at this," called out Vilmar, pointing to a console. "It seems to be some kind of log entry." Dr. Yix hurried over, her translator device working furiously to decipher the human language. Slowly, words began to form on their screens. "Final log entry," Dr. Yix read aloud. "Project Exodus is go. May our descendants forgive us for leaving, and may they understand why we had to go. The Milky Way is no longer enough. We seek the challenge of the unknown, the thrill of true discovery. Perhaps, one day, we will return. Until then, let these ships stand guard over our cradle of civilization." The Zarkonians stood in stunned silence. Captain Zeltorn was the first to speak. "They left, voluntarily, to explore beyond our galaxy." "It appears so," Dr. Yix replied, her voice filled with wonder. "They had the technology, the drive, and the courage to venture into the great unknown. As they explored further, they discovered more. The ships were not just defensive platforms, but arks of human knowledge and culture. They contained vast libraries of human history, art, and scientific discoveries. In one section, they found what appeared to be a nursery, with advanced stasis pods designed to hold and nurture human infants. The pods were empty, but their purpose was clear. The humans had been prepared to seed new worlds with their children if necessary. "This is more than just a fleet," Tazlia said, her voice filled with emotion. "It's a monument, a testament to their species' achievements and ambitions." As they were about to leave, Vilmar noticed something strange. "Captain," he called out, I think the ship is waking up." Sure enough, more systems were coming online. A soft hum filled the air, and the ship's AI spoke in a language they couldn't understand. But its meaning was clear. The arrival of the Zarkonians had triggered something. Captain Seltorn made a quick decision. "Everyone, back to our ship now." As they hurried back to their vessel and disengaged, they watched in awe as the entire human fleet began to power up. Lights flickered on across the massive ships, and their engines began to glow with an energy the Zarkonians had never seen before. From the safety of their own ship, the Zarkonian crew watched as the human fleet began to move. It was forming a pattern, a message written in the stars themselves. Dr. Yix gasped as her translator finally deciphered it. "Captain," she said, her voice barely a whisper, "it says, 'We are coming home.'" The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just coming back. They were returning from beyond the edges of the known universe. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The Earth hung silently in the vast emptiness of space, a blue and green jewel against the backdrop of stars. For 500,000 years, it had spun on its axis, circling the sun as it always had. But something was different now. The once bustling planet was eerily quiet. Where cities once stood, nature had reclaimed the land. Thick forests covered old urban centers, and animals roamed freely through what used to be streets and buildings. The air was cleaner than it had been in millions of years. Earth had become a paradise again, but there were no humans left to enjoy it. High above the planet's surface, a fleet of sleek spacecraft orbited silently. These were not alien ships, but the last remnants of human technology. They had been left behind when humanity mysteriously vanished 500,000 years ago. Despite the passage of time, these ships still looked advanced and powerful. On one particular day, something new appeared in Earth's sky. A massive ship, unlike anything Earth had seen before, dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the moon. Its hull gleamed with an otherworldly metal, and strange symbols decorated its sides. This was the flagship of the Zarkonian Empire, one of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. Inside the Zarkonian ship, Captain Seltorn stood on the bridge, his four eyes widening as he took in the sight of Earth. "Scanners, report," he commanded, his voice a mix of curiosity and caution. A junior officer, Vilmar, spoke up. "Captain, we're detecting signs of a once advanced civilization on the planet's surface. But there are no current technological emissions. It's as if they've all disappeared." Zeltorn stroked his chin tentacles thoughtfully. "Interesting. What about those ships in orbit? They look quite advanced." Vilmar ran another scan. "Sir, those ships, they're incredible. Our initial scan suggests they might be even more advanced than our own technology, but they appear to be unmanned and in some kind of standby mode." The bridge crew murmured in surprise. It was rare to find technology that could rival their own, let alone surpass it. Captain Seltorn made a decision. "Prepare a landing party. We'll investigate the surface first, then take a closer look at those ships." Hours later, Seltorn led a team of scientists and security personnel onto Earth's surface. They had chosen to land in what was once a major city, now overgrown with vegetation. The Zarkonians marveled at the strange mix of nature and remnants of an advanced civilization. "Look at this," called out Dr. Yix, the chief scientist. She was examining a partially buried piece of machinery. "This device, it's unlike anything I've ever seen. The complexity is astounding." As they explored further, the team found more examples of the lost human civilization. They discovered libraries with books that had somehow survived the centuries, preserved in airtight containers. They found art that spoke of a species capable of great creativity and emotion. But the most shocking discovery came when they entered a sealed underground bunker. Inside, they found a holographic message. flickering to life as they entered. The image of a human appeared, speaking in a language none of them understood. Yet, the emotion in the being's voice was clear. It was a message of hope and determination. "Captain," Dr. Yix said, her voice filled with awe, "I believe we've stumbled upon something extraordinary. This civilization, these humans as they seem to call themselves, they weren't destroyed. They left." Zeltorn looked at her in surprise. "Left? You mean they abandoned their homeworld?" Yix nodded. "It appears so. And based on what we've seen of their technology, I don't think it was because they were fleeing some disaster. I think they chose to leave. To explore the stars, perhaps." As night fell on Earth, the Zarkonian team returned to their ship, their minds buzzing with questions. They had come expecting to find a dead world, maybe some primitive life forms. Instead, they had found a mystery that challenged everything they thought they knew about the galaxy. Captain Zeltorn stood at the viewscreen, gazing down at the beautiful blue planet and the advanced fleet that guarded it. 500,000 years, he murmured to himself. What kind of species leaves behind such wonders and ventures into the unknown? And more importantly, where did they go? Little did the Zarkonians know, their discovery was just the beginning. The legacy left behind by humanity would change the course of galactic history forever. As the energy from the ancient construct washed over them, Captain Zeltorn and his crew felt themselves changing. Their minds expanded, their bodies evolved, and their understanding of the universe deepened beyond anything they had ever imagined. The same transformation was happening to Admiral Zara and the human crew. When the light faded, they looked at each other in awe. They were still recognizably themselves, but now they glowed with an inner light, their bodies partially translucent and shimmering with energy. We've become like the ancients," Vilmar said, staring at his now ethereal hands. Dr. Yix was beside herself with excitement. "The knowledge, it's incredible. I can see the fabric of the universe itself." Captain Zeltorn turned to Admiral Zara's hologram, which now seemed almost solid. "Admiral, I believe our journey has only just begun." Zara nodded, her eyes now filled with stars. "Indeed, Captain. We have been given a great gift, and with it, a great responsibility." As if responding to their thoughts, the construct began to change. The walls became transparent, revealing the vast expanse of the galaxy around them. They could see every star, every planet, and even the dark matter that bound it all together. "Look," Tazlia called out, pointing to a distant part of the galaxy. "I can see a young civilization just beginning to explore their solar system." They all focused their newfound senses on the area she indicated. Indeed, they could see a species taking its first tentative steps into space, filled with wonder and hope. "They're like we once were," Zeltorn said softly. "And now, it's our duty to guide them, to protect them." Admiral Zara's voice was filled with determination. "Not just them, but all the young races in our galaxy. We must use our power wisely, to nurture and protect, never to dominate." As they watched, they became aware of other presences joining them. More ships were arriving, not just from Earth or the Zarkonian Empire, but from all over the galaxy. It seemed the call of the ancients had gone out to all advanced races, offering them the same choice. One by one, representatives from dozens of species joined them in the construct. Each underwent the same transformation, becoming part of this new guardian race. Captain Zeltorn felt a sense of unity unlike anything he had ever experienced. He could feel the thoughts and emotions of not just his crew, but of all these new beings. They were becoming a true galactic community. "We are no longer just our individual species," Admiral Zara said, her voice resonating with newfound power. "We are the guardians of the galaxy, entrusted with its care and prosperity." As they all came to terms with their new reality, the construct began to pulse with energy once more. This time, it wasn't changing them, but responding to their collective will. "I think," Dr. Yix said in wonder, I think we can control it now. We can use it to travel anywhere in the galaxy instantly, to communicate across vast distances, to reshape matter itself. Zeltorn nodded, feeling the truth of her words. But we must use this power responsibly. Our first task should be to establish a council, to make decisions that will affect the entire galaxy. The idea resonated with all present. In moments, they had organized themselves, creating a structure that represented all their former species equally. The Galactic Council of Guardians was born. Their first decision was to send emissaries to all corners of the galaxy to make contact with young civilizations and offer guidance. They would not interfere directly, but would be there to prevent disasters, to offer knowledge when the time was right, and to protect against any threats from beyond the galaxy. As the newly formed Guardians prepared to embark on their mission, Captain Zeltorn looked out at the galaxy, his galaxy, their galaxy. He thought back to the day when they first discovered the ancient human fleet orbiting Earth, how far they had come since then, and how far they still had to go. To think, he said to Admiral Zara, who now stood beside him as a fellow Guardian, all this began because your people dared to dream of something greater, to leave their home and explore the unknown. Zara smiled, her form shimmering with cosmic energy. And because your people had the courage to investigate a mystery, to reach out to a long-lost civilization. Together, we've achieved something greater than either of us could have alone. As the Guardians dispersed, heading out to all corners of the galaxy, Zeltorn felt a sense of purpose and unity that filled him with joy. The age of separate species and empires was over. A new era of galactic cooperation and growth had begun. And somewhere, in the vast expanse of the universe, he sensed that the ancients were watching, pleased that their legacy had found worthy inheritors. In the days following humanity's return, the solar system buzzed with activity. The Zarkonian ship, once the most advanced vessel in the area, now seemed quaint compared to the human fleet. Captain Zeltorn and his crew watched in amazement as humanity began to reshape their ancient home. "Look at that," Vilmar said, pointing to the view screen. A massive structure was taking shape in Earth's orbit, its purpose unclear, but its design breathtaking. Dr. Yix, who had been in constant communication with human scientists, explained, "They call it a Dyson swarm. It's the beginning of a project to harness the full energy of their sun." Captain Zeltorn shook his head in wonder. "In just a week, they've accomplished what would take our empire centuries." A signal chimed, indicating an incoming transmission. Admiral Zora's hologram appeared on the bridge. "Captain Zeltorn, I hope we're not overwhelming you with our activities," she said with a smile. Zeltorn chuckled. "Overwhelmed? Yes, but in the best possible way, Admiral. We're learning more every day." Zara nodded. "Good, because we have a proposal for you and your empire. We'd like to invite a delegation of Zarkonians to join us on a mission." The bridge crew exchanged excited glances. Zeltorn leaned forward, intrigued. "What kind of mission, Admiral?" "An expedition to the galactic core," Zara replied. "There's something there we discovered during our travels, something that could change our understanding of the universe itself." The news sent a ripple of excitement through the Zarkonian crew. The galactic core had always been off-limits, too dangerous to explore with their current technology. "We'd be honored, Admiral," Zeltorn said, "but our ship isn't equipped for such a journey." Zora's hologram grinned. "That's not a problem. We'll be upgrading your vessel with our technology. Consider it a gesture of goodwill and the beginning of a technological exchange program." Over the next few days, the Zarkonian ship underwent a transformation. Human engineers swarmed over it, installing new systems that the Zarkonians could barely comprehend. Tazlia, the engineering expert, was in heaven, peppering the humans with endless questions. As the upgrades neared completion, Captain Zeltorn called his senior staff for a meeting. "This is an unprecedented opportunity," he said, looking at each of them. "We'll be the first Zarkonians to see the galactic core working alongside the most advanced species we've ever encountered. Any thoughts? Dr. Yix spoke first, her eyes shining with excitement. Captain, the scientific potential is enormous. We could learn more on this one mission than our civilization has in the past 1,000 years. Vilmar nodded in agreement but added, we should also be cautious. We don't know everything about these humans or their intentions. What if this discovery at the galactic core is dangerous? Zeltorn considered this. A fair point. Vilmarch will remain alert. But so far, the humans have shown nothing but openness and a willingness to share their knowledge. I believe this is a risk worth taking. As the day of departure approached, a small fleet of human ships gathered around the upgraded Zarkonian vessel. Admiral Zara came aboard to brief the joint human-Zarkonian crew. What we found at the galactic core, she explained, her expression serious, is what we believe to be an ancient construct. Its energy signature suggests it's millions, perhaps billions of years old. We think it might be a remnant of the first civilization to arise in our galaxy. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Zeltorn spoke up. If that's true, the archaeological and technological discoveries could be immeasurable. Zara nodded. Exactly. But there's more. We've detected signals emanating from the construct. We believe it might be some sort of galactic communication hub, possibly connecting to other galaxies. The excitement in the room was palpable. The idea of communicating with extragalactic civilizations was beyond anything the Zarkonians had ever dreamed of. As final preparations were made, Captain Zeltorn stood on his bridge, now a mix of familiar Zarkonian technology and strange human innovations. He felt a sense of pride and anticipation. His people had set out to explore the unknown, and now they were about to embark on the greatest journey of discovery in their history. All systems ready, Captain, Vilmar reported. Zeltorn took a deep breath. Very well. Signal the human fleet. Let's make history. With a flash of energy, the ships engaged their new faster-than-light drives. The stars blurred, and they were off, racing towards the heart of the galaxy and the mysteries that awaited them there. The story of humanity's disappearance and return had led to something far greater than anyone could have imagined. It had led to the birth of a new, united galaxy, protected and guided by the Guardians. And their story, the greatest adventure of all, was only just beginning. As the combined fleet of human and Zarkonian ships entered the massive construct, they found themselves in a cavernous space that defied comprehension. The interior was alive with pulsing lights and swirling energy patterns that seemed to respond to their presence. Captain Zeltorn and his crew stared in awe at the sight before them. The chamber stretched far beyond what their eyes could see, filled with structures and machines of unknown purpose. It's like a city, Vilmar whispered, his voice filled with wonder. Dr. Yix was frantically working at her console, trying to make sense of the readings. Captain, the energy levels here are off the charts. This place, it's not just a construct, it's alive somehow. Admiral Zara's voice came over the comm system. We're detecting multiple energy signatures. It seems this place has been waiting for us. As if on cue, a beam of light shot out from the central core, engulfing both the human and Zarkonian ships. But instead of harm, it seemed to be a form of communication. Suddenly, Zeltorn felt his mind expanding again, but this time it was different. He saw visions of ancient beings, creatures of pure energy that had once inhabited the galaxy. He understood, in that moment, that this construct was their legacy, a seed of knowledge left behind for younger races to find. When the vision faded, Zeltorn looked around to see his crew blinking in amazement. Even the usually composed Admiral Zara looked shaken. Did everyone see that? Zeltorn asked. Nods and murmurs of agreement came from both his crew and the human ships. Dr. Yix spoke up, her voice trembling with excitement. Captain, I think I understand now. This place, it's a repository of knowledge. The beings who built it, they were the first sentient race in our galaxy. They left this behind as A gift. Admiral Zara's hologram appeared on the bridge, her eyes shining with a new light. "You're right, Doctor, and I believe they've deemed us worthy to receive their knowledge. But the question is, are we ready for it?" As they pondered this, the central core of the construct began to pulse more intensely. Streams of energy flowed out, forming intricate patterns in the air around their ships. Tazalia called out from her engineering station. "Captain, the construct is interfacing with our ships. It's upgrading our systems." Indeed, both the human and Zarkonian vessels were beginning to change. New structures were forming, systems were reconfiguring themselves. It was as if the ships were evolving before their very eyes. Captain Zeltorn watched in amazement as his console transformed, displaying information and capabilities he could scarcely comprehend. This technology, it's beyond anything we could have imagined. Admiral Zara's voice was filled with awe. "It's not just technology, Captain. It's the key to the next stage of our evolution. The ancients are offering us the chance to become like them." As the upgrades continued, the crew began to feel changes within themselves as well. It wasn't painful, but they could sense their minds expanding, able to process information at incredible speeds. Vilmar gasped, "Captain, I can see the underlying structure of space-time. It's beautiful." Dr. Yix was practically dancing with joy. "The secrets of the universe, they're all here. The origin of life, the nature of dark matter, even the possibility of traveling to other universes." But amidst the excitement, Captain Zeltorn felt a moment of doubt. He turned to Admiral Zara's hologram. "This power, is it too much? Are we ready for this responsibility?" Zara's expression was serious. "That, Captain, is the final test. The ancients aren't just giving us this knowledge. They're trusting us to use it wisely, to become guardians of the galaxy, as they once were." As if responding to their conversation, the construct's core pulsed once more. This time, a voice spoke directly into their minds, not in words, but in pure concepts and emotions. The message was clear. The power was theirs to accept or reject. If they chose to accept, they would become the new caretakers of the galaxy, tasked with guiding younger races and protecting the cosmic balance. Captain Zeltorn looked at his crew, seeing the same mix of excitement and trepidation on their faces that he felt. He then turned to Admiral Zara. "This decision affects all of us, humans, Zarkonians, and every other race in the galaxy. What do you think we should do?" Zara smiled. "I think, Captain, that this is why humanity left Earth all those eons ago. We were searching for purpose, for a greater role in the cosmos. And now, together with your people, we found it." Zeltorn nodded, feeling a sense of destiny settling over him. He took a deep breath and spoke, knowing his words would shape the future of the galaxy. "Then let us accept this gift, and the responsibility that comes with it. Together, we'll guide our galaxy into a new age of enlightenment and discovery." As one, the human and Zarkonian crews signaled their acceptance. The construct's core flared brightly, and a wave of energy washed over them all. In that moment, they ceased to be simply human or Zarkonian. They became something more, the new guardians of the galaxy, armed with the wisdom of the ancients and the united strength of their peoples. The greatest adventure in the history of the galaxy had only just begun.